Joseph Bello, good question here. Hello, Matt. Are bridges a replacement for deadlifts and a good corrective for you to upper back or whole back? So always remember that people love to compare apples to oranges for some reason, when it comes to calisthenics. I don't know why. Like, nobody ever does this with other modalities. Like, when people get into banded work, they're not saying, well, is the banded deadlift as good as a barbell deadlift or something like that? The comparison always is kind of a little weird. So always remember that when we're comparing apples to oranges, we want to look at it several different ways. The first of which is, what are you fundamentally doing? So fundamentally, things are the same. It's a hip hinge exercise. You're using the same muscles for the same movement, for the same purpose and everything. So in that regard, yeah, it's the same. But when it comes to the specifics of how you're using your body, no exercise is the same as any other exercise. And that's because physiological adaptation is always specific to whatever we're doing. There's no such thing as any exercise that's going to make you like 100% as good at any other type of exercise. You know, I've got guys who are super heavy deadlifters. They can't do a table bridge to save their life. You know, I've got people who can run a marathon, but they have horrible endurance for free sparring. I know people who can do a 180-degree split, but their shoulder mobility is horrific. Okay, so there's nothing out there that's ever going to make you adequately mobile, strong, endurance, balance, stability, whatever, at everything else. So that's why it's always very important for you to be, what specifically do I want to get out of my training? Because you don't want to just be doing any old thing and assuming, good, I'm sure I'm strong at everything, I'm mobile at everything, I'm endurance for everything, because you're not. We're all going to be weak, tight, stiff, and have poor endurance for something out there. I can ride my mountain bike for hours, but it's going to take an act of Congress for me to swim across an Olympic swimming pool, because I can't swim for crap. My endurance is terrible because I don't swim. Now, of course, there's going to be plenty of carryover. Absolutely. But that's why you want to be concerning yourself. Do you want to have strength in the basic fundamental movement pattern? Well, then just do whatever you want. You know, it really doesn't matter what kind of exercise you do. But if you're hell bent and you're like, heavy deadlift is the only marker of strength I care about, and like, well, then deadlift. Don't even bother with the bridges. You know, are you going to get the benefit of bridging from deadlifting? Of course not. No, but you're going to build up that strong posterior chain and that hip hinge. And if that's all you care about, well, then there you go. This goes along with what I was saying earlier about adopting versus discarding various methods. You know, if you just don't care about that back flexibility and mobility or the way that bridges work with your body, don't worry about it. You don't need it. As long as you're getting something on that extension chain, you got to get something in there in order to make sure those muscles are getting adequately worked. But it doesn't really matter what you do. So if you don't care about bridges, don't do bridges. If you don't care about deadlifts, don't worry about the deadlifts. Just get something in there. But if you're hell bent and like, I need to have a really good, perfect bridge for whatever reason, well, then you'd better be bridging. So are you concerned about the specific adaptations or the general adaptations? If it's the specific adaptations, you need to do the thing that you're specifically training for. And if you're after the general stuff, well, then just do whatever the hell you want, whatever suits your preferences and needs and stuff like that.